And what muscle car shootout would be complete without a 62 409? And we've got one of the finest examples from the Mountain States here. We're talking with Jim Goodwin out of Denver, Colorado. And Jim, how long have you had this particular example?
This car here, I ended up with 5 years ago. I own an auto salvage yard in Denver, Colorado, and this car came in really rough shape to be crushed. And we saved it out of the crusher and we were trying to restore it, but it was so badly rusted, we ended up making a lightweight pro nostalgia racer out of it. And well, you can see how it turned out now.
Is this the first Prehistoric Rat?
Yes, it is. The name comes from the Rat motor, you know, the 427, 454s, and the 409 came out long before them, so we call it the Prehistoric Rat.
Now tell us about this particular body. Now this is a 62 Belair, you can tell by the roof line. All steel?
It's quite a bit of fiberglass. With the doors, front fenders, bumpers, and deck lid are all fiberglass. Still steel on the quarter panels and the roof. We replaced the windows with Lexan. It's a pretty rare car. They made less than 6,000 of them. The Belair two-door hardtop, it's called a bubble top because of the roof design. And probably less than 600 of them were made with 409 engines. Now this wasn't original 409, it was original 4-speed car. And then we put the 409 engine in it. So it's a pretty rare car. This one we use a big block crank and rods. It's bored and stroked out to 450 cubic inch. We use big block studs and roller rockers in the valve train, crane cam, roller cam. We're running a rare Mickey Thompson cross ram with 2 AFBs. And for this particular race, we added an NOS cheater plate. So we're going to try to get down in the low 9s. We normally run about 10 flat on gasoline.
What do you think it'll take to win this weekend?
Well, Jim Jones run a 941 over there, so hopefully we can get down there too, and maybe I can cut a better light. So we hope to take the whole thing.
Any special strategy going into the race?
Just cut a good light, don't sleep.
A 1970 Ford Boss 429. This car, by the way, happens to be the last car that was ever sponsored by Ford Motor Company in that series. And we're with the owner right now, Gary Horton, from up in Canton, Ohio. Gary, tell us a little bit about your first experience with this car.
The first run we had was at New Alexander, Pennsylvania in a 8-car match race, and we drew Ronnie Sox in Sox and Martin car. He lost his motor in the lights, so with Ronnie, we didn't cry about it.
All right, well, this is it. If you ever get a chance to come to one of the car shows, make sure you stop and see Gary Horton's 1970 Ford, the last of its kind. I have found a 1963 Chevrolet 409. It belongs to Dave Campbell from Kearney, Missouri. Dave, tell us a little bit about the car.
The car is an original car with 43,870 miles on it as far as original body and the interior, and then we bought it with a 6-cylinder in it and switched it over and put a 409 in it and do a little nostalgic drag racing.
Well, I'll tell you what, the car has been featured in some magazines and has the incredible ability to go into the 12-second bracket while running in races. Yes, it's just a faded memory.
Well, Dan, if you talk about legends in muscle cardom, you talk about Arnie the Farmer Beswick, and I've found Arnie over here in the pits and the tameless tiger Tempest. Arnie, how long have you been at this particular game?
I've been at it quite a while, I guess really since about 1954, if you want to be exact.
And you won your first national event in 1955 with the National Highway Association, right? Where was that at?
It was at Great Bend, Kansas, and our 35th reunion is coming up this year at Topeka, Kansas.
Well, when you talk Arnie the Farmer Beswick, you talk Pontiacs. Have you always been associated with Pontiac?
Not always. I got started in racing in 1954 with Oldsmobile. In fact, when I got out of the service, I started with Oldsmobile. And they happened to be the car of the time right then when they first come with the overhead valve. And that looked to me like the winning combination, so that's what I went with.
Now, I recall you ran super stock back then, some factory experimental, but you unofficially retired not too long ago. What brought you back out?
I didn't really retire. It was kind of a mandatory retirement. I had a terrific fire back at home. We had just put up a brand new garage facility, and I had all my race car parts and pieces and trucks and all my farm machinery, and we lost everything That was 1972.
So the last real racing that you did was in 72?
That's correct. I was just devastated, not only emotionally, but also financially, and it just took more than I could hack to even think about coming back there for a while.
You've got a Tempest here that you're campaigning now, but this is not really your car. Tell us whose car this belongs to.
This car belongs to a very close friend of mine. Unfortunately, he had one of these misfortunes in life with cancer, and he passed away just a few months ago. His name is Jake Howard.
And you're campaigning the car in Jake's memory, is that right?
That's very true.
Well, it's really good to see you out here this weekend campaigning in Jake's memory. What will it take to win today?
It's going to take a little luck because the track's a little bit slippery and it's very, very bad air today. It's going to take a combination of good traction, good reflexes, and naturally, good luck always helps too.
Well, now you're running some cars that may have a bottle or two hidden away. Any secrets in the Tameless Tiger?
No bottle. We're all throttle, as they call it. We're hoping to quash this idea of injectors and bottles and so forth, and get the guys to go back to what the original cars were in 1963, 64 era, where it was basically carburetors, stock blocks, and stock type heads with cast iron components. Once we get into the aluminum components and the injection and the nitrous, it just takes the high dollar aspect to compete, and we want to keep this more of a fun sport where all the old races can come back, as well as the ones that are having cars built or have cars similar to what we are running right now.
Well, Arnie, it's great to see you out here this weekend, and good luck to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by.
We've got Clint Murphy with us today. Clint's going to tell us a little bit about the construction of this fabulous 409. Clint, when did this project actually start?
This project started in October last year, and we went through the winter months. We built the body out of all fiberglass, handmade, my son and I, Matt. It's got a tube frame under it, a 2x3 frame. It's got a strut front end, 9-inch Ford rear end in it. It is a 409 engine. It's 430 horsepower. It's fuel injected. Dave Kirkland did the fuel injection, and Mark Sargent painted it.
Now, the actual construction of the body, you say you hand formed the panels. Was that using a 62 Belair as a mold?
Yes, it was. We built the molds and everything ourselves.
Since you built this car, have you been asked to build any more?
Sure. Quite a few.
Would you sell this car?
No, I don't think so.
Now, you race on exhibition style. Do you do any bracket racing with the car?
No bracket racing, just exposition. That's all.
409, 435 horsepower. Now, you ran today earlier in the exhibition class. Satisfied with your performance today?
No. We can run better.
What would you change?
Oh, probably put a different engine in, a little bit bigger cubic inch.
Where to now?
Back to Dallas. And then we go to Houston, I think, in September, and Houston again in October.